Thank you for coming back to my channel for your stimulus check and stimulus package update. Please subscribe to my channel, please leave your thumbs up, and please leave your comments. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for all the support that you give me on my channel. There's two comments that I got yesterday that I want to address before we go any further. It won't take but a second. Okay, yesterday I talked about they're wanting to put the $15 minimum wage back into the stimulus package. Now we know that they took it out last time. The Senate parliamentarian said it wouldn't work, and so they're going to put it back in this time. Well, she's going to take it out again, so it's still not going to work. So I put that in the video yesterday, and somebody said it's one thing to get $15 an hour, but they have to have the hours to match it. They won't get any hours if they go back to work. Okay, first of all, the argument was we need $15 an hour. Now it looks like maybe $15 an hour will happen at some point. Now we're changing the argument to we need something else. You know, $15 an hour is good money, and maybe you will only get part-time, but then you can get 2 part-time jobs that equals 1 full-time job. There will always be these people that's going to have an excuse not to go back to work. People was fighting for $15 an hour. It looks like it's going to happen. There will be excuses after excuses. It's time we go back to work. Somebody else said about the heating cost. They're wanting to help people now with the cost of heating fuel because it's going to skyrocket this winter. Somebody said that last time when they done that, they only got $11 and the bill was $100. Yeah, that's probably right. They said assistance with heating costs. They did not say they was going to pay your full bill, because you have that bill every year. The pandemic has nothing to do with you getting a heating bill. The pandemic has something to do with the price going up. That's the part that they're going to help you with. Y'all, just because it's a pandemic, it's not a free ride. We still have to take care of our own. I mean, yeah, $11 is not much, but they're taking care of the part that went up higher. Okay, let's get into the stimulus stuff. The negotiations has now started. Now things will start to happen. We are getting a look at what's in the bill so far. What they're talking about so far is not actually in the bill. They're talking about it and negotiating. Will they put it in or not, or take it out? Just keep in mind when we go over these things, the negotiations has just begun. Things will still be added, things will still be taken out. So this is what we know so far. Please remember this. If what you want is not in this bill right now, they've just started. So don't get excited if whatever you want is not in this bill right now. Here's what we know so far. Universal preschool looks like it will stay. 2-year free community college looks like it may be taken out. Paid family leave may be cut down to just 4 weeks, but it will stay. Federal support for child and elder home care, it looks like it may stay in, but it may get cut. Clean energy. Y'all, clean energy is covering a lot of ground. It's a lot of things encompassed in that clean energy part. So it will stay. One way or the other, it will stay, but it will be cut drastically. Child tax credit looks like it will stay, but it will be for more targeted people and for a shorter amount of time. Medicare voucher for $600 to $1,000. We have not heard anything on this, but I really believe that it will stay in. We hadn't heard any talk one way or the other. Joe Manchin is looking at a top line figure of $1.5 trillion. The White House is looking for a top line figure of between $1.9 trillion and $2.2 trillion. Let's see who wins. Now, some of the things that has not been talked about for a while. It don't mean that these things will not be in the bill. It just means they hadn't been talked about and negotiations has just begun. Monthly stimulus checks. Some people call these reoccurring checks. Y'all, I've said it from day one, we will not see reoccurring checks, and reoccurring checks just will not happen. And they're saying it now too. For stimulus check, right now there is no for stimulus check in the bill. A lot of them are talking about it, and that's good. But right now, there is no forced stimulus check. I do believe 100% of me says we will, let me back up, people's going to correct me on that. 125% of me says we will get a forced stimulus, but it will be to a much smaller group, a more targeted group of people that actually needs it. The $200 raise to Social Security that Joe Biden promised us all through his campaign. I like to call it a campaign lie because it's not a campaign promise. Right now, it is not being talked about, but don't give up hope on that. It could still be added in negotiations. Again, remember, negotiations just started. The raise of Social Security to 100% of the poverty level may not make it in this bill, but they are talking about another bill right after this around the midterm elections, and it could find its way into that bill. The lower price tag will have to cut a lot of stuff out of the $3.5 trillion bill. But let's talk about that. That's not totally a bad thing. So what happens now? They have a plan to get this bill done by October the 31st. Then send it to Joe Biden for his signature to bring it into law. Then they can move forward to another reconciliation act where they can add in these things that they didn't get this time. And that's where I believe the forced stimulus check will be. The raise to Social Security will be, the extended child tax credit, maybe even adult tax credits. A whole host of things could be in that second reconciliation bill. Let's just hope and pray. Y'all, if you see something that you're needing that is important to you and it's getting to be put on the chopping block, now's the time to speak. You can't sit back and let them do whatever it is they want to do and then expect to speak up. It'll be too late then. Once it's signed into law, it's too late. Right now, you have to write your letters. You have to make those phone calls. I've got all the addresses and phone numbers in my description box below this video. Grab them and use them. Let me ask you this, and I don't mean to sound harsh. Out of all the people complaining that they need help, they need help, they need help, let me ask you, how many of you picked up the phone? How many of you picked up a pen and paper and wrote a letter? If it's bad enough to complain to your friends, family, co-workers on YouTube, write a letter, make a phone call. You have to stand up. You got to let your voice be heard. And you say, okay, I'm not good at writing letters, or I'm not good at communication. They'll get the point. They get tons of these letters. They don't read them all word for word. They get the gist of your letter. They know what you're talking about. Write the letter, make the phone call. If you wait until it's passed into law, it's too late. You're SOL. Now, what do I think about the forced stimulus check and the $200 raise to social? On the forced stimulus check, I totally believe we will see another forced stimulus check. It will be in the latter reconciliation act, I believe. $2,000, I don't know. Nobody knows that number. We'll just have to wait and see. But the forced stimulus check, in my opinion, will be in the latter reconciliation act around the midterm election. If in fact they do that, it could still make its way into this first one. $200 raise to Social Security, it can still be added in, but my hopes on that is growing dimmer every day. Joe Biden did campaign on it and he promised it, but of course we know how little Joe keeps his promise. Y'all please sound off in the comments how you feel about all this garbage. If you want your comments put over on We the People, please start it by saying We the People. We will take it over there for you. Also, check out the We the People website, the blog section of it. We're free to say whatever we want to over there,